Hello everyone. In this video we will briefly talk about the Odinist cult, part of the Delphi trial. So here we go. Throughout the entirety of the gruesome 132-page document that saw defense attorneys working to shift blame for the Delphi murders out of suspect Richard Allen's hands into those of a cult of Nordic pagans, the word Odinism appears dozens of times. It is a term anchoring a new theory put forth by Allen's attorneys, Andrew Baldwin and Bradley Rosei, that contends in part that Abigail Williams and Liberty German were ritualistically sacrificed by a group of white supremacists entrenched in Nordic pagan cult, and it's Rosie, rather. Evidence of the so-called Odinist involvement Allen's attorneys claimed in the filing released on Monday could be found in a reported rash of runic symbols discovered at the crime scene and in an alleged contingency of Odinist law enforcement officers now keeping watch over Allen at Westville Corrections Facility. But what does Odinism or Odinist actually mean? Broadly, the word refers to belief systems centered in Odin, the Norse god of war and death, that of seemingly ancient term rooted in the beliefs of medieval European pagans. Specifically, I'm adding this, specifically, it's the people over in the Nordic countries. That's where the word Norse comes from. I'm related to the Norse people somewhat. And also other Germanic countries believed in Odin too. And I also believe, if I'm recalling correctly, yes, even the Anglo-Saxons believed in it, and the Celtic people probably had some version of it too. Pagans would show up in document filed by attorney Carroll County Courthouse. Does not come as a shock for scores of civil rights advocacy organizations keeping tabs on white supremacist organizations throughout the United States. Hate groups have been pulling symbols, words, ideologies rooted in European pagan belief system to advance racist beliefs for decades. Criminologist and civil rights attorney Dr. Brian Levin has won awards for his experience tracking the group's extremism at California State Center of the Study of Hate and Extremism, and said throughout nearly 37 years of continual work in this space, he receives requests to define Odinism about once in every 3 years. And yes, so you have white supremacists that use these symbols because they feel a nationalism with that it has to do with supremacy in their own race, which is, it's how they are. And it's symbols from European people from the past, and they're using them to justify doing bad acts towards people, which I believe is wrong. And everybody should just try to get along and to not fight each other and to use the racism, because I believe that divides people. Continuing, those first inquiries about Odinism first began in the mid-1970s when Levin explained a widespread, renewed interest in the Earth-centered pre-Christian belief system pre-located throughout the United States. White supremacist groups sought to realign themselves with more contemporary subcultures, and they also don't like Christianity because they believe that, it came from the Jewish people of the Middle East, so those people also don't like anything that has to do with that. So that's another reason for it, in my opinion. Quote, Odinism has been around in the American far-right white supremacist world for decades, but with different state in regards to whether some folks just get a tattoo of these gods or symbols, or if they fully adhere it, Levin explained. And also, there are people that practice paganism that are not, in my opinion, into the race stuff, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're into the racist stuff too. There's people that just believe in these pagan gods, in my opinion. In the early 2000s in Indiana, a racist skinhead group called Vlander's Social Club who identified as an Odinist, formed in Indiana that grew to be one of the largest, most hardcore racist skinhead groups in the country. But the mid 2010s membership had largely filtered out. Still, others remain entrenched in the state's prison system. Odinism is fairly common among white supremacist prison gang members in Indiana. You've got two large gangs in Indiana, the Aryan Brotherhood and the Saxon Knights, present in the Indiana prison system. It gets a little complicated because religious groups in prison can get certain privileges like meetings and so forth, and so some people can be of a particular religion without necessarily wholeheartedly believing in it, said Dr. Pitkevich. So basically, the evidence is that you have a situation where it seems to be prevalent in the area. There is some of the what's called rune symbols around, as I said earlier in the video, and just the in the Third Reich they use those symbols, and just also in World War II it was used by the Germans. So it's interesting to see this side about the Odinist cult doing something like that, and also some people that believe in these paganism cults also have, some of them have friendly feelings towards Satanism as well. And it's something interesting to look into, and I liked reading the evidence about this, and you could put your thoughts about this in the comments section below. What do you think? Do you think that there are an Odinist cult? There is an Odinist cult doing these things? Let me know in the comments below.